Hello everybody and welcome to our virtual open day. We are live from the St John's campus and we are in fact in our Digital Arts Centre, as you'll be able to see in just a moment's time. We're set up in the TV studio, socially distanced, and we're ready to bring you some fun things over the next hour. So as you can see, we've got the full setup and the team behind the cameras today as well. So we've got lots coming up for you in the next hour. So I will be speaking with some guests. We've got some students joining us and we'll also take you on a tour of some of our campuses. And we'll have members from our accommodation team and our students' union team just to give you a bit more information about the university. But first, I am joined by Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Provost, Professor Sarah Greer, and we're here to ask some questions to you today, if that's okay. So I know it's a little bit different to a normal open day. We haven't done anything like this before, really, and it's not what we're used to. So what would you say to people who were not able to welcome to campus today, but how would you welcome them to Worcester?
Oh, well, I would say, first of all, that Worcester is an absolutely fantastic place to come and study. So perhaps people might like to know a little bit more about us. So I describe us as a medium-sized university. We have about 10,000 students. And I think that's great because it's big enough so that we can do lots of really interesting things and there are lots of activities. But it's small enough so that we really get to know our students, so that we can support them and work with them as individuals. I think the other thing I'd say about the university is we have fantastic facilities. We're sitting in one today, the Digital Arts Centre, and there are many, many more. And we also have absolutely fantastic staff.
So we've been ranked top 3 in the UK for quality education, and we've also been recognised by the Times Good University Guide for our teacher quality. What does that mean, though? Could you describe that a little bit more for us?
Yeah, I think the easiest way to describe it is to say we're very good at teaching. And I think that's incredibly important when you're looking at where to go to university. So I think what we have at Worcester is we have academic staff who are really excellent in their own subject discipline, so they know their subject. But equally importantly, they are really good at teaching it, and the two don't always go hand in hand. So we place lots of emphasis on really developing staff in terms of teaching. I think the other thing I'd say about our teaching is we try to keep it really relevant. So we work really closely with local employers, and we try to keep it as relevant for real life as we possibly can.
I think that was a big selling point for me when I was looking at universities as well, is the subject that I'm most interested in, which was sports at the time. Just wanted to know how much I could get out of going to university, really. Another concern of mine, and I think definitely my mom's as well, was how I would be supported at university. I think there's a big rhetoric around kind of going to university and being alone, and you'd have, you know, it's independence, you have to fend for yourself, but it's not the case whatsoever, really. Could you tell us a bit more about the support that you get throughout your studies at Worcester?
Yes, of course. So we are a really inclusive, supportive university, and I think we're very well known for that. We support our students in lots of different ways. So some of those ways are practical. So I know that you're going to be talking to some people from Accommodation, for example, and we have an excellent student services team who can help students with disabilities. And any other issues that they have at university. But we're also incredibly supportive academically. So we support our students with personal academic tutors, and we really remember that it's an individual journey for every single student.
So it's an uncertain time at the moment, and particularly economically, and why would you go to university and study a degree? So for those today thinking about coming to study at Worcester next year or the year afterwards, what would you say, how can a degree help them in a competitive job market?
I think a degree is still incredibly important in helping you to find a really good job. So we know that around 96% of our graduates are in full-time employment or further study within about 15 months of graduating. That's an incredibly high number. I would say that we do everything we can to help people get the job they want right from the start. So the minute you arrive at Worcester, we'll actually be talking to you about what you want to do when you leave us. And we support students with work-based learning, with work placements. We also have a really high proportion of professionally accredited courses, and I think again, depending on what you want to do, that's really important. And I guess the last thing I'd say is that our staff have been there and done it. So our staff have often done the jobs that our students want to get, and I think that's really important too.
So the last question for me, and perhaps not the easiest, for those of us that work and study at Worcester, we know there is something special, but perhaps you could describe what makes Worcester special for us.
It is tricky, isn't it? And I would certainly encourage people when they can come and visit us to come and visit us and talk to students and staff. But I think Worcester is an absolutely lovely place to study and to work. I think we are an incredibly inclusive, supportive community. It's a very safe community, and it's, I guess, that kind of combination of exciting but actually supportive and safe.
I think that does sum it up really nicely, and thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
So, next up, I will be chatting with some of our students, and I'm sure they are going to tell you exactly why Worcester is so special as well. But first, we joined recent graduate Amy on a tour of our St John's campus.
Hello, I'm Amy, and we are just outside our main reception on the St John's campus. This is right in the centre of the campus, and nearby we have First Point, which is home to our student services and support teams. They are here to help with all student queries. We're going to take a walk now through the campus to show you some of the places where our students hang out and study. We have several cafes on this campus and our main dining hall around the corner, which is open throughout the day for breakfast, lunch and dinner. There are plenty of great meal deals in most outlets on campus for hot and cold, freshly made food. We also offer a click and collect service too, so it's great if you're in a rush. We have plenty of outdoor spaces to meet during breaks. This is the perfect spot for bringing your lunch and to get some fresh air in between lectures. It's important to us that you enjoy your downtime during your studies. If you're interested in sports, societies or just getting to know people, the Students' Union can help. The Students' Union is led by 3 officers who are elected by our students each year, so they have everyone's best interests in mind. Let's take a walk through. So now I'm stood upstairs in the hangar, which is where our bar is. Downstairs we have a campus shop, a cafe and plenty of meeting spaces for students. The Students' Union is a really chilled out space to hang out with your fellow students, either in the day or at night. The halls of residence on the St John's campus are only a few minutes away from our teaching spaces. Everything on this campus is really close by, creating a community feel for our students. This is where our biggest selection of halls are, but we do also have plenty of university managed houses in the surrounding area and some accommodation at our city campus. You'll be able to see inside some of our ensuite extra flats later on.
So I'm really pleased. I'm now joined by some of our students. I'm joined by Talis. You're in your 3rd year studying creative writing and screenwriting. And I'm also joined with Sophie. She is a graduate from sports studies and PE. So I thought just to get to know you both a little bit better to start with, we could do some quick fire round questions if that's okay. So don't worry if I'm putting you on the spot here. But Talis, maybe if we go to you first and then Sophie, you next. Where are you from? Are you local or not local?
I'm from Essex.
Brilliant. And Sophie?
I am from Nuneaton.
Okay. Did you live in university halls, housing, or did you commute?
My first year I was in halls, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and I was in halls as well on City Campus.
Oh, nice. Maybe in the same halls, maybe not?
I was on St John's campus.
St John's,
City Campus.
not to worry. Do you prefer seminars or lectures?
My course sort of tends to blend them both together, so I enjoy sort of that combo.
I prefer the seminars actually, because like you're smaller groups and you got to focus on the work a little bit better, more one-to-one support.
And maybe a bit of a trickier question. What did you find the biggest difference between school and college and university to be?
Probably just the independence, like it's a lot of extra stuff, but it's a lot more sort of self-driven, which is nice.
Brilliant.
I would definitely say the assessment methods. At A-level I was doing all exams, where at university I was doing presentations and essays, and I really liked the variety.
I definitely found the same. I felt like I had my independence more at university, and I quite like going between seminars, practical and lectures as well. It's good variety. So thank you for the quick fire questions there. I think we've got to know you a little bit more better than we did at the start. But maybe if we go into some more detailed questions now, if that's okay. So perhaps Sophie, if I come to you first, if that's okay. What was your favourite thing about your course?
I'd definitely say the support that you got from both my peers, because we were like quite a small group of people, but also the lecturers themselves. They had this open door policy, so you could go and see them whenever you needed about assessments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember being assigned an academic tutor on the first day when I started, and I didn't quite understand what it was, but essentially we had a cup of tea and some biscuits, and it just made me feel much more at home already. It was really nice. What about you, Talis? What's your favourite part of your course?
I mean, definitely my Pat, who is also one of my lecturers, but all the lecturers are brilliant. All of our assignments are like tailored to my degree. They're all writing involved. They're all sort of feel heavily practical even when they're not, which is like really good for sort of getting experience and workshopping with other students, which is like awesome.
And you're starting your dissertation now as well, so you're getting right down to the end of your course, so
yeah,
it's quite exciting really.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's fun.
It'll be worth it in the end. So you're not necessarily local, but so why did you choose Worcester? Maybe Talis, if I come to you first on that one, why did you choose Worcester, and what's your favourite thing about the university and the city?
Well, I got into all of the unis I applied for, and then went to those like sort of personalised open day things for all of them, and I think I came to Worcester second, and I realised afterwards that every other sort of open day I went to, I was just sort of comparing everything back to Worcester, and I realised this was my sort of benchmark for what I wanted. So I'm really happy I ended up here. I love it here.
That's good. And Sophie, you actually now live in Worcester as well, don't you? So
yeah.
Why do you like Worcester? Why did you choose to come and study in Worcester?
I think it's because I did want to live in a city, but I'm a little bit of a country girl, and like there's so many, like the scenery around here, walking down the river, going on my country walks, like I just love the feel of the place.
That is one thing I do quite like about Worcester, is that you do have everything you have and that you want in a city, so all the shops, restaurants, that kind of stuff. But I'm sure you've both been to the Malvern Hills and how close that is, and lots of nice walks as well. But it is a very beautiful part of the world, I must admit. So you're 3 years in now and you've graduated, so starting university may feel a long time ago, but I might just get you both to think even further earlier, if that's okay. Talis, do you remember how you felt before you went to university, in kind of that applying stage, and how were things for you then?
Well, I have anxiety, so I was very stressed the entire time. Yeah, it was really stressful leading up to it. It's really stressful, like packing everything and moving, and but I mean, it's worth it.
Yeah, the one thing I do remember from applying to university is when you send your UCAS application off and you're waiting for your offers to come through, and how nerve-wracking that can be, and you want to look and you know you got your offer. So, but at the same time, it is really exciting as well, making lots of good decisions about your future. So, Soph, do you remember how you felt before you while you were applying for university and before you came along?
Yeah, no, I'm also really nervous as well. I was the first one in my family to go to university, so it was very much unknown territory. Was I making the right decision and stuff like that? But it definitely paid off going.
Do you mind if I just ask you, how did you decide on your course? So you took kind of slightly different route into university, didn't you? Could you tell us why you chose that route and the subject?
Yeah, pretty much it was down to my A-level results. I didn't perform great during my A-levels, so that meant I went through clearing and I applied for the HND course instead. And though that's where my anxiety came from, because I wasn't too sure about the course, if I could go back again, I would do the same thing. It was perfect way for that step from A-levels to university.
I also studied sports, so sorry, maybe we're a bit sport heavy here, but I would I'd recommend. I had such a good time studying sports. So thinking now a little bit further down the line, you've made your application, brilliant, you've got into Worcester. How are your first few weeks at university? I think those are the most potentially nerve-wracking. That's a big transition in your life. How did you feel, Talis?
Oh, I was terrified, yeah. I think I spent the first couple of days of Freshers Week just in my accommodation. I think I even left my room. I think I met my people I lived with and just stayed in my bubble for a couple of days. And about halfway through Freshers Week, I was dragged out to something and ended up having loads of fun and spent the rest of the time trying to engage in the rest of the week and ended up like feeling a lot better. But yeah, it was good.
How about you, Sophie? How did you find the first few weeks?
I sort of did like the opposite of that. I made sure like I had a doorstop, so my door stayed open so people could come and talk to me when I wanted to. I went and introduced myself to other flats in my building, and I just went out with these new people that were all in the same boat, were all really nervous, and it was just a really great 2 weeks to get to know everyone.
Oh, that's nice.
I think that's a really good point to say that everybody's in the same boat as well.
Yeah.
I remember moving into halls like it was yesterday, which it was a lot of fun, but also I was so nervous that I don't think I was very helpful to my family. I didn't help pack the car, unpack the car, those kind of things. And because I did that, my brother was the one unpacking the car when we got there and was like, he was really excited, which probably should have been me, but everybody thought he was moving into halls and not me and introducing themselves to him. And I was like, oh no. So when he left, everyone was like, what are you still doing here? But, yeah, so that was a nice icebreaker. But yeah, there's so much going on in those first few weeks that help you get settled into university. But I think you're right that everybody's in the same boat. There's nothing to worry about, and there's lots of people on hand to help in those first few weeks as well.
Yeah.
So maybe if we just think back and think about yourselves as, you know, you felt quite nervous. Would you give yourselves any advice, or do you have any top tips looking back now for those starting university? Maybe tell us, do you have a top tip for your...
I mean, I think just engage in things. Like I said, I'm a very anxious person, I'm very introverted, but I think like once I started engaging in stuff, I realised that like, loads of other people are also quite anxious and introverted. We're all in the same boat, so it sort of became a lot easier to adapt once you start engaging with other people and doing the activities that the uni gives you in Freshers Week and engaging in all the lectures and societies and stuff. It's a really good time. It makes it a lot more fun while you're here.
That's good. And Sophie, do you have a top tip for those thinking of starting university?
I definitely agree with like engaging with everything. I wish I'd joined a society my first year rather than my third year, and learn how to cook some basic meals. Just don't live off like bird's eye frozen food for the first 2 years of your life.
I think that is a good point as well. I definitely learned how to do so many things at university, like cook, and my mum always said this would happen, but I was calling her and asking how to cook different things, the food that I missed at home and that kind of stuff. But you just mentioned that you were part of a society. What society were you part of, and what did that involve?
So I was part of the Netball Society. I didn't join as a playing member, I was more there as a social member, so I'd go and support the team. I could go training with them if I wanted to keep my fitness up, but predominantly it was just another place to go and make new friends who I did then live with in my final year. And they are some amazing people that I made through that society.
Brilliant. And tell us, are you a member of a sport or society?
We actually, this year, me and a group of people started a poetry society because the university has a creative writing one, but we wanted something specifically for poetry because we'd been in the Uni Slam earlier, or late last year, 2019. And so we sort of wanted something tailored for that group of people. So we've gone through the process of creating a society, and it's all set up now, which is like really lovely.
You might need to tell us what is involved in a university slam later on. I don't think I've ever heard of that before, but no, that sounds great. Again, I was a bit like you, Sophie, but very similar, I feel, in terms of, I also joined the Netball Society, and safe to say that playing netball at university is way better than anywhere else, so kind of miss it in that sense. But thank you for joining me both. That is brilliant, and we'll speak to you soon. But you can find out much more about university life and student life on the Virtual Open Day pages. We'll get you navigated there after this live broadcast session, don't worry. But for now, we rejoin Amy on part 2 of our St John's campus tour.
Welcome back to the campus tour, and this time I'm back in main reception, but we're going to take a walk in the opposite direction. This is the Edward Elgar building and is where most of the teaching spaces are on this campus. We have plenty of large lecture theatres and seminar rooms to cater for a variety of different class sizes. So I'm now here in the university's Geo Garden. This is a great place to come and sit outside, grab lunch and also meet your friends. There's plenty to see around here, including a 350 million year old fossil feature. It is also used by our School of Science and the Environment students. So behind me here we have the Darwin building, which is where some of our specialist science labs are based. This is also where the National Pollen Forecast is produced in partnership with the Met Office. This is the Sheila Scott building, also known as our Clinical Skills and Simulation Centre, which is used by courses such as nursing, midwifery, paramedic science, physiotherapy and occupational therapy. Rooms are designed to replicate hospital, therapy and home environments for training that reflects real life. The centre provides state-of-the-art simulation opportunities for students through a range of real-life simulations to allow them to practice clinical decision-making and leadership skills. We have a fully equipped ambulance to teach paramedics crucial skills while stationary and on the move. We also have SimMan, an electronic man with over 2,500 irregular heartbeats and can suffer from thousands of ailments, perfect for testing quick decision-making skills. So that brings us to the end of our tour around our St John's campus, but join us back a little bit later in the session for a tour of our city campus.
So that's Amy giving you an insight into our St John's campus, which is where we are live right now. However, we do have lots of other campuses in walking distance. So we've sent some of our other students out to give you a tour of our city campus, our Hive Library and our brand new Art House Centre.
Hi, I'm Debbie and this is our city campus and home to Worcester Business School. This building used to be an infirmary dating back to 1771, but it's been modernised inside to be a great space to study and catch up with our friends. The city campus is a 20-minute walk from the St John's campus and about 10 minutes away from the Riverside campus, home to Worcester Arena. And we're only a few minutes away from the city centre. Here is the cafe at City Campus where we hang out between lectures and watch the day's news. Downstairs there is a gym and wellbeing centre and there's also a museum here about the history of the building. This is a typical learning space where business school students have seminars. The Lim Building is around the corner, which is another teaching facility at the city campus and is home to our School of Law, including a purpose-built courtroom. We have halls of residence at the St John's campus and at City campus. This is one of our ensuite extra flats at City, which is really handy for students who study on this campus or for those who want to be closer to the city centre. A couple of minutes walk from City campus is our award-winning library, the Hive. We have over 250,000 books here, as well as over 250 computers and access to printers, Wi-Fi and laptop points. The Hive offers an excellent space to study with some fantastic views of Worcester. This is the Art House, which is a newly renovated facility providing a home for students studying across a range of art-related courses. The Art House is about 15 minutes walk from the St John's campus and 5 minutes from the city centre. There are plenty of light and airy spaces to get creative here. We have so much room for students to work in the studio space. We also host lots of public exhibitions here, which is great for getting some inspiration. There is lots of student work on display all year round throughout the building, so it's a cool place to come and take a look at. The Art House has been designed with accessibility in mind and is a perfect home for the arts here at University of Worcester. Thanks for joining me for this campus tour.
So hopefully that gives you a good insight into our university campuses. It's really unusual circumstances, and we can't wait to welcome you to campus as soon as we can, so you can come and see all of our facilities in person. But you can take a virtual tour, which you can access from the Virtual Open Day web pages, and you can have a look at all the facilities you've just seen in the video, and so much more as well. Now, I'm now joined in the studio by Students' Union President Meg Price, and she's here to give you a bit of insight and information on our Students' Union.
Hi everyone, so as Lauren said, my name is Meg and I'm the Students' Union President. So I was a student here studying sport and exercise science, and then I was voted in by others to represent them and to work at the Students' Union. Before I go on to say more about what the SU is and what we're about, we've got a quick video to kind of show you what we've been up to. So as you can see from the video, we get up to a lot of different things throughout the year, and it's different every year because we're a student-led organisation. So as you've seen in the video, Harry, Tish and I are the full-time officers who are elected by students to represent them. We also run lots of different campaigns which are fed into by students and by us full-time officers, including stuff like how are you getting home safe, as well as lots of other things that feed into the student experience. We've got lots of fun things for you to get involved with, such as sports clubs. We've got everything from American football to ultimate frisbee and everything in between. You can participate in these sports no matter what your skill level. We have performance teams where you can perform at a really high level. We've also got recreational physical activity and sport for you to get involved with. We've also got a number of societies, including faith and cultural societies such as our African Caribbean Society, our Islamic Society, and interest groups such as our Loco Shoko Theatre Company. And they're really good for you to get involved with and to make friends outside of your lectures. When I was a student, I was involved in lots of sports clubs and societies, and it really did add to my student experience. We've also got the opportunity, if there's something that you want to do that that's not on the list, you only need 4 people to start it with as well, which we think is a fantastic way of you following your interests and starting something new as well. We also have lots of opportunities for you to volunteer and develop your CV whilst you're here and whilst you're studying, as well as fundraising and stuff like that. You can also become a course rep with the Students' Union, so you can represent your cohort at a course level to help develop the academic experience, which is also something that looks really great on your CV. We have our bar, so we have our hangar on campus, on the St John's campus, which is a great place to come, particularly if you're living in halls, to have maybe a drink between lectures, or in the evenings we've got lots of different activities on, such as our quiz on a Tuesday, and also karaoke on a Friday as well. It's a really good place to just come and chill out in the daytime as well, in between lectures, and to grab something to eat as well. As the SU, we provide opportunities for you to work as well. During my time, I worked on the bar, and it was a really good way of meeting other people, but also earning a bit of extra cash whilst I was studying. We do lots of things online as well, so if you want to, check it out on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, and you can see what we've been up to this year and what things you could be up to in the coming years if you were to join as a Worcester student. We're really open to talking to you as well, so if you want to contact us with any questions about the SU, we're on Unibuddy all day today, so do let us know if you have any questions. Oh, and before I nearly forgot, we also have one really important thing called the Independent Help and Advice Centre. So as a students' union, we're separate from the university and can help provide you with help and advice on things such as accommodation, anything to do with academic misconduct or anything else that might be worrying you. Our advisor can help you and signpost you in the right direction. But the students' union really adds to your student experience, and I would highly recommend it, although I'm biased, but you can definitely check out what we do. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
So thank you to Meg, and I think she's absolutely right that the Students' Union is such a big part of university life. I remember when I first moved into halls at university, the Students' Union was right next to my halls of accommodation, and there was so much that you can get involved in. It really is great. It has been an unusual year for our students, and I think the Students' Union in particular has really helped to kind of enhance that student experience and make it as make it as best for students as possible. We have some short clips now which show how our students have been finding studying in this first semester.
Studying at the University of Worcester during the pandemic has actually been nice because most of my classes are face-to-face. I'm getting the guidance I need.
So I'm still able to come in, I'm still able to see people, talk to people. Face-to-face was very different than an online experience. But we do have little squares that our studios have been set up in that are all 2 meters apart, and then obviously if we are moving around we do put our masks on. So from that perspective, yeah, my uni studies have still been quite face-to-face and normal as much as they can be, which I really appreciate.
Studying a healthcare degree, being on campus is obviously an important part of learning what we're working towards. A lot of our curriculum is obviously 50-50 split, so we do 50-50 theory and 50-50 in practice, and having this face-to-face has enabled, it's a better understanding, being able to have lecturer support, and I think from a mental health aspect, being able to have the support from your cohort has helped dramatically, really.
Studying during a pandemic is obviously really odd. No one's had to do it before, so it's all a bit different, but I think they have prepared us really well for doing that. It is incredibly important to have one-to-one contact on a practical course like nursing, midwifery, whatever it is. So it is nice to be back, and we have 1 or 2 actual practical sessions back on campus to do things such as life support, manual handling. So we have all those practical elements, but then you do a lot of theory off campus as well. So we do things such as safe Medicate exams, so that is looking at medication, how you measure that, so that you can bring that then into practice when you come into university.
Since returning to campus from online study and all that because of Corona, it's been not much different. We've been face to face, the teachers have been given the same support as they did last year. Everything's the same. Just being back on campus and being more hands-on and everything, it fits into the art thing, because you can't really do much of it online because you need materials and you need a space to work and everything. So yeah, I feel like it's been really good just being back face to face. So it's just what I needed. Yeah.
So lots of you joining us today will be thinking about moving into university accommodation. I'm now joined in the studio by Judith from our accommodation team, who's here to give a little bit more information.
Accommodation team, a quick overview of the accommodation that we have available at the University of Worcester. We have 2 campuses where our accommodation is located. We have our St John's campus and our City campus, and we have 6 standards of accommodation available, ranging right through from our traditional accommodation, which is our cheapest standard, through to our ensuite premium, which is our most expensive standard but new for this year. We have our traditional standard and standard plus accommodation, where you would have shared use of any kitchen, lounge, bathrooms. In our ensuite options, you would obviously also have the same shared use for lounge and kitchens, but you would have your own bathroom facilities. In addition, we also have some ensuite rooms located within the city centre area close to the city campus. We also have a selection of student shared properties both within the St John's area and also the city centre area. We also have some postgraduate accommodation. Our rents are all inclusive, and we include all utilities, gym membership, contents insurance and much, much more. We also, in our ensuite extra, include TV in the communal space, and we pay for the TV licence. And in our new ensuite premium, we've gone one step further, and we actually provide a TV in every bedroom. We also have, in addition to our in addition to our you'll be able to apply for accommodation through UCAS as soon as you've chosen us as your first choice. You can choose your accommodation irrespective of whether you have a conditional or unconditional offer. And on the basis that our accommodation is allocated on a first come first served basis, then the only thing that you need to be aware of is to apply by the deadline of the 31st of May. The more information that you can give us about your accommodation, the better, and that will help us to get your accommodation experience just right. Do you prefer single-sex accommodation to mixed-sex accommodation? Would you prefer to share with friends? If so, they'll need to apply at the same time as you, or indicate that they wish to share with you, and also apply at around the same time. Do you have any specific disability requirements or any medical need that we need to be aware of? And have you actually informed our Disability and Dyslexia Service? Once we've actually found the perfect accommodation for you, we will actually send you an email to let you know. And we'll also be asking you for a £300 damage deposit, which we'll normally request within 7 days of making you the offer. This damage deposit is refundable and will be paid to you at the end of the licence period. Our normal licence agreement length is for 39 weeks. However, there are some courses which will require a slightly longer licence length, and that will be nursing, midwifery, or maybe paramedic science. And once we've actually, and deposit, can you cut it?
Hello, I do apologise, I think we're experiencing some technical difficulties there, but you can find out so much more about our accommodation on the Virtual Open Day pages. We have our advisors available between 1 and 4 to chat to you today about all the different options, and you can also take a virtual tour of our accommodation as well online. So that brings us to the end of the broadcast, but it doesn't bring us to the end of the Virtual Open Day. There is so much more that you can get involved in, and I thought it would be helpful just to run through some of the things that you can get involved in now. So at 2 o'clock you can join a live course talk where you can find out more about your course of interest, as well as chat with the tutors and some of our current students from the course. As mentioned just a moment ago, you can chat with our advisors from accommodation, student support, and also our admissions team about all those questions you have about applying to university. There's lots more content on the Virtual Open Day pages as well that you can get involved in, such as talks, presentations, and it may be worthwhile just chatting about how you get to those pages now as well. So you may be joining us live from the email that we sent you or from the Virtual Open Day pages. For all the content, you can go back to the email, or you just navigate your way around the virtual open day page. If you're joining us live from YouTube, we will be posting the link either in the description or in the chat box so that you can get over to the virtual open day page. So thank you for joining us, and there is so much more to get involved in. But for now, we leave you with our video submission. We were recently nominated for University of the Year in the Times Higher Education Awards, and it is a video narrated by one of our recent graduates, Casey Bailey.
Head just north to Worcester. Stop and stare at the cathedral. Let your ears be blessed by Alga, a composer with no equal. Where the Severn bursts her banks, stops to flex her force, the place I went to uni, the place that makes the greatest source.
If your actions don't match your words, you have nothing to say. I am a graduate from a university that has something to say. I am a graduate from a university that makes an impact on me, on our students, on society. I am a graduate from Worcester. A university that makes an impact for inclusion. A university that makes an impact for quality education.
I felt that they could offer me the best nurse training to make me the best nurse that I can be. So that's why I chose the University of Worcester.
Worcester Uni for me has been an amazing experience. I've had so much support, whether it be with assignments or just want to chat. I can go to any one of my lecturers and they're there to help me and support me.
I think children all over the world are the same, and they really deserve every bit of good education. If you give them good education, they can stand up for themselves, they will be empowered.
I hope that the future generation will strive for a better future than we have had in the 20th century.
I think when we hear directly or indirectly about the impact that the work that we're doing here has on people's lives, it's a tremendously emotional and often quite humbling experience as well.
A university that makes an impact for equality.
I hugely admire the work you've been doing here, because I think not only do you set an example, you ensure that young men and women moving forward into the workplace come so from the basis of equality being a given.
A university that makes an impact for liberty. university that makes an impact for the environment.
I don't think I ever imagined that Worcester would take the lead in doing this across the world, but Worcester is taking the lead.
My name is Casey Bailey, and I am proud to be a graduate from a university that has something to say.